Hey everyone, Emily with Bob's Watches. Today we're talking about the Rolex Explorer 2 and walking you through the process of how to use it as a GMT watch. Also, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of our latest video content. Whenever someone says Rolex GMT, it is likely some form of the GMT Master that first comes to mind. But ever since the mid-1980s, the Explorer 2 has also been a GMT. By its definition, a GMT watch is one that features an additional time zone, displayed in a 24-hour format. On the very first Explorer 2 that was introduced in 1971, the reference 1655, the 24-hour hand is permanently synchronized with a 12-hour hand, meaning that it functions as just an AM/PM indicator that also displays the time in a 24-hour format. However, when the second generation of the Explorer 2 was introduced in the mid-80s, Rolex started fitting the watch with a movement that featured independently adjustable hour hands, allowing it to simultaneously display two different time zones. This means that if you have a reference 16550, 16570, or 216570, then your watch can also be used as a GMT. Before we get started, it is important to note that there are 3 different crown positions on the Explorer 2, and depending on the position, it will engage a different part of the movement. Position 1 is for manually winding the watch, and it is the natural position that the crown pops into once it is free from the threads that secure it to the case. Pulling it out 1 notch from here will put you in position 2, which is the one that is used for setting the local time and date on your Explorer 2. In this position, the seconds hand will stay running, and rotating the winding crown will move the local hour hand either forwards or backwards in 1-hour increments. The date will change accordingly when the local hour hand passes midnight, so position 2 is also the one that you will want to use anytime the calendar display needs to be adjusted. Pulling the crown out again to the final notch will be position 3, which is the one used for setting the reference time for your watch. In this position, the seconds hand will stop running, and both of the hour hands, along with the minute hand, will move in either direction when the crown is rotated. Now, as far as using your Explorer 2 as a GMT, the first thing you will want to do is make sure that the 2 hour hands are aligned, since this will make the rest of the process much easier. You can always verify this by pulling the winding crown out to its 3rd position and advancing the hands to midnight. When they are all lined up at 12 o'clock, then you know that it is midnight rather than noon. To set your reference time, keep rotating the winding crown in position 3, so that the desired time is indicated by the 24-hour hand's position in relation to the corresponding scale on the bezel. The minutes for reference time will be indicated by the normal minute hand on the watch. You can either set this to GMT, also known as UTC time, if you wish, or simply set the reference time to your home region, and then use the local 12-hour hand to track the time in your current location. For example, let's say that we want to keep reference time as our home here in Southern California, and it is currently 8 a.m. Pacific. Now, let's say that we're going to fly to Switzerland, but we first have a layover in New York along the way. When we land in New York, we just unscrew the crown and pull it out to position 2 so that we can update the local time. New York is 3 hours ahead of LA, so we will want to jump the local hour hand forward 3 positions. Notice how in this position that the rest of the hands stay running. This is done so that updating your local time does not disrupt the accuracy of your watch. Now, after our connecting flight when we land in Switzerland, which is another 6 hours ahead of New York, simply jump the local hour hand forward another 6 places. At this point, local Swiss time will be displayed on the dial, and the time back home in Los Angeles will be presented by the 24-hour hand's position relative to the bezel. When you return back home to LA, just adjust your local hour hand back 9 positions to correspond with the time difference, and the hour hands of your Explorer 2 will once again be synchronized, with the local time displayed on both the 12-hour and 24-hour hands. The Rolex Explorer 2 may have not originally been created to be a GMT watch, but ever since the mid-80s, when it was given a movement with independently adjustable hour hands, the Explorer 2 has included all of the functionality required to be a true GMT. While it may not have GMT in its name, the modern Rolex Explorer 2 is in fact a GMT watch, and it is capable of simultaneously displaying the time in 2 different locations, with one being in the required 24-hour format. Knowing this about your Explorer 2 opens up the doors to a wide range of practical uses, and in addition to being a timepiece for outdoor adventurers, it can also be a perfect travel watch. Thanks for watching our video on how to use the Rolex Explorer 2's GMT functionality. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of our latest video content.